Hello. Hello. Welcome back, True Believers. It's another episode of Comic Conversations. I was just reading some lower decks. Look, I thought it's a Captain. It's a James Tiberius Kirk spotting. Cool. And it looked like on the animated show. Anyway, we're not here for that. But I do have a special guest, and I'm going to introduce him because you're on the show Comic Conversations, where we ask the tough, hard-hitting questions like this question that Brody had in Mallrats.
The Thing. Is this dork made of orange rock like the rest of his body?
It's a superhero secret. Tell me.
On this comics with friends here, I always do a little video intro. So Brody's my go-to because he's kind of a I don't know. It reminded me as a teenager collecting comics when I watched Mallrats, and I know that movie probably didn't have as much success, but I don't know, because of the comic aspect, it's one of my favorites by Kevin Smith.
It's a great movie. I mean, I love Kevin Smith, man. I've seen pretty much everything he's ever made, and almost always had a great time.
And you know how many ex-girlfriends I've had that conversation with? It may not have been that issue, but like, you have my copy of Fletch, the remote control of my TV, and Punisher War Journal number 6. I need
that
back.
Sounds like a pretty good woman if she watched Fletch and read Punisher War Journal 6. I feel like that's a good woman.
Yeah, might as well just let her have it at this point. You can get it for $10.
Right.
But it's still an issue. But I always thought that was funny. They mentioned Punisher War Journal. I mean, that was just like random to me. But anyway,
that's my favorite run of Punisher, is that original War Journal run. I love it.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
all that Jim Lee artwork.
Yeah, and then the Mike Zeck miniseries was pretty cool, too. I met Klaus Janson, who did the Six-Fingered Punisher. He signed it for me.
Love Klaus.
He's
such a nice guy at a con, too, to talk to.
Yeah.
And he's always super friendly. And, yeah.
And I'll tell you, Arthur Adams is kind of a cut-up.
Is he?
Yeah. He
I have a couple of his covers I'd love to get signed.
Lady Carolyn didn't know what he looked like. And she walks up and he's sitting there drawing something. And she says, "Is Arthur Adams going to be back soon?" He goes, "Yeah, come back in about 2 hours." And she left. And she come back 2 hours later. And she's like, "You got me, you son of a bitch."
That's so funny. I had a similar experience with Tom Taylor at San Diego Comic-Con. I went up to a booth that had his name and Bruno Redondo's name. They were in the middle of doing Nightwing, right? And and I went up and they had some posters for sale. I was like, "Oh, this run is so great." And the guy in the booth's like, "Oh yeah, it's really funny." I was like, "Oh, I really want to get some stuff." And then I looked at his badge and it said Tom Taylor. I was like, "Oh crap, you're Tom Taylor." And he goes, "Yep, that's me." And he had, thankfully, a poster that Bruno had already signed. So he just signed it, and it's now right there on the wall behind me.
All right.
Double signed by those guys.
Hey, we already have a question from Cole Talks Books. He wants to know, what's the best topping for, I think that's a hot dog. For a hot dog?
Look, gang, I'm assuming you don't mean a condiment, or no, I'm assuming you mean a condiment and not like onions or something like that, because I've got a lot of German heritage in my family. If the first answer isn't mustard, we got problems. We're gonna throw some hands, is what I'm gonna say. I've seen Barack Obama talk about how nobody should put ketchup on a hot dog, and I'm not that extreme, but mustard goes first, gang. Mustard is the one, especially if you have a really high quality sausage and not just just a basic run of the mill grocery store wiener or whatever. If it's a quality sausage, get that sucker some mustard, is what I'm saying.
I'm going to take it a step even further. I think it should be a bratwurst, and it should be spicy mustard.
Now you're talking. See, you can get deep into the weeds on quality mustard, and then you start throwing the vegetables on there, man. You get some kraut, you get some onions, you get some goodies in there with it, and it's all done, brother. It's all done.
Yeah, and like we would take the bratwurst. We're turning it into a cooking show all of a sudden, and you put some beer in there with it after you fried them, right? Then you put some beer in there with the onions and let it marinate for a while after they've sauteed. And then it kind of just cooks off, right?
Yes. Words of
Stone
wisdom.
ground mustard is a good one too, Cole. But we got E-Man. He said that mayo, mustard, ketchup, and sauerkraut.
E-Man, don't be trolling us in here with this stuff.
Okay, come on, man. They no, this is a serious
Putting ketchup
show.
and kraut on a
I'm not
dog.
Marvel
Ketchup and
Whoppers
kraut.
here, okay? Yeah. You know what? Right now, Anthony Bourdain is looking down from heaven. He's frowning at you, man. I'm just saying. Okay. Rest in peace. Anthony,
There's a hilarious
my
meme
pleasure.
though going around of Barack and Michelle being interviewed, and they get deep in the weeds on why he is so anti-ketchup in his household.
Station, Stu's here. Stu, we had him on a couple weeks ago. We had a lot of fun talking.
Yeah, I was watching
about,
that. Yeah, this weekend I was watching that.
We talked about the future of comics, which makes me nervous.
Yep.
I don't think they're doing themselves any favor here lately, John. Not with modern comics, except for maybe Image.
I personally think that there's
Bad
always going to be room for the medium of comics. I just don't know how long it'll be in single issues, and I don't know how long it'll be collectible.
Yeah, I think maybe like once in a blue moon, a book will come out. Like last year, it was the first appearance of Wolverine, which skyrocketed kind of fast.
Sure.
You know, or maybe that I don't know if you see it, but it's behind. I mean, the first print of that Daniel Warren Johnson Wolverine cover, which is just kind of random. And
Sure.
Or this is not the cover that went crazy, but you know, the first issue of this one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of has or like Ultimate Spider-Man. That's a good example too. Number 1, and I think issue 8.
Sure.
But like, yeah, it's I don't think it's like few and far between. Like, I mean, personally, I don't know about you. I'll let you answer this after I give this statement / question. But I don't know. Do you find yourself like? I mean, I find myself here lately just being like, I'm not going to read as many new comics because there's a lot of older stuff I want to buy. I don't know. What do you feel about that?
I'm definitely in that boat. I feel like I've gone far more into the realm of finishing runs that I want to finish and getting single issues that I want to get for those stories, and then buying a lot of collected editions. I've been buying a lot more omnibus and a lot more collected trades and things like that. So yeah, I've been reading fewer. My pull list has gotten very tiny.
Yeah, mine's down to this is a month, like $52.
I'm trying to think. I might be in that range, but the tricky part is a couple of the books that I'm way into right now do a lot of really great variants, and I've been buying too many of the variants. But as far as number of titles, I would probably say I'm close to 5 books a month.
Okay, I'll let you answer this first, and I actually have an answer for this one too. John, what's the best indie comic in the last year? I'm pretty much only read Beneath the Trees, Where Nobody Sees, and TMNT.
So Cole, I will say that my favorite. Great question. And my video that I did in January of my favorite reads of 2024 has become easily the most watched video I've ever made on my channel. It's almost at 2,000 views, which I've never had a video get close to that. But number 1 for me was Traveling to Mars. Traveling to Mars is by Mark. Oh shoot, it's right over there. Oh my goodness, John. Mark Russell. I'm sorry, Mark Russell. And it's phenomenal. And I know it technically started in 2023, but it finished in 2024. It's superb. I can't recommend it enough. I paid in for the Kickstarter to get the hardcover. I bought all the trades that my LCS had in stock, and I've been giving them away. It was exceptional. But there were some really great indie reads of 2024, and I think sometimes, Beneath the Trees was definitely the hyped book, but I got wrecked by Traveling to Mars. That book is powerful. And then anything from Rick Remender, I'm a big fan of. So Grommets was a big one that wrapped technically in 2025. So that's great
what I was going to say. That's what I grabbed out of the short box.
Boom, there it is.
And you got Brian Posehn on
the
it.
final issue or two was in this year, but they had a little delay in publishing for the final couple of issues.
And the Brett Parsons, I think, did the artwork, right? And Posehn and Remender wrote it.
Yep.
Who's a comedian that I love. He's one of us. Brian Posehn's one of us. He's a nerd. He's a metalhead.
Yeah, I got to meet him at WonderCon in Anaheim, and he signed a copy of Grommets, and I gave it away to a channel member. It was great. Like such a good story, and he was so friendly, and yeah. So,
and I don't know
cool.
if this counts as an indie because it's on Image. I don't really know if Image is much of an indie anymore, but I mean they do.
That's tricky, yeah.
Yeah, but Geiger and
Sure.
Redcoat.
I know the fans of the Geiger verse and the unnamed verse are way into it. I fell off the wagon pretty hard on that series, and the only one I loved was the robot. What's that? Junkyard Joe. That's amazing.
Yeah, robot. And I'll tell you too, for this year so far, this is only a mini series. Is this?
Which one's that? I can't see.
Bug Wars.
Bug Wars. Yeah.
And I will say this one too, although I'm probably going to be reading them digitally because I have Comixology and also have the Marvel and DC apps. I know people like to kind of pirate some of the stuff, but I think if Marvel and them's going to produce stuff, I'm going to at least pay for it in some form. That's my opinion.
Sure.
I try to be like that because I mean, look, if we don't support the comic industry in some form or another, even if it's just a couple of books, it's not going to be around much longer. I mean,
it's on us. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, man. Image and Boom are like mid-dependents to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. And then my friend Jeff is like, Junkyard Joe rocks. He does. I kind of marked out, like, I'm a wrestling fan, so I'll put it in this terms. It was like I popped like it was a Road Warrior pop. I don't know if anybody knows what I mean by that. When the Road Warriors come out, they used to get the biggest like ovation because everybody loved them because they were cool looking. And well, when I started, he came in, he showed up in Geiger, the newest Geiger. And I was like, let's go, man. Let's go. I've been waiting for this. Where's he been?
Yeah. And I read, I think the first like 8 or 10 issues of everything that came out of the Geigerverse, but the only thing that moved me to a significant degree was that first Joe volume, Junkyard Joe. That trade it's mind-blowingly good. And if anybody missed it, I'm not the biggest Geiger verse fanboy, but that's one you got to pick up.
Yeah. And I heard there's another one I want to get a trade of that I heard was pretty good last year. It's called Local Man. Did you ever read that?
Yes, it is really good. And I want to say that they're firstly they're on a bit of a break right now. But I think they've done 3 or 4 trades, but they've got the Image oversized hardcover for the first 2 trades is out, so you can get if you like those hardcovers on your shelf. It's really good. Local Man gives you those 90s vibes, but it's like The Boys if it was a comedy. It's got a bit of a like struggling superhero and a corporation that runs all the superheroes, and he's kind of on the outs with the corporation.
The Boys is like, and people are like, oh, that show's wild. I'm like, if you think that's wild, you should read the comic book.
There's the truth. Yep.
Because they don't even like scratch.
No holding back.
Of how crazy that they don't like. And I don't know if anybody knows anything about Garth Ennis. You know that he takes no prisoners.
He really doesn't. You got to be fully buckled for that.
Like, you remember the guy in Preacher who like tried to unalive himself?
Yep.
And he had the like they call him anus
arse
face.
Face. Yeah. Yeah.
So they got pretty wild. And there's one where they have like a panel, and I had this on out of context panels one time, and the woman had no arms and legs, and they're like, "Are you okay?" She goes, "Do I look like I'm freaking okay?" You're like, you know what? It's kind of like you don't want to laugh at it, but you're like, Jesus, she's got a point. I don't know. It's kind of like I'm a fan of the British comedian Jimmy Carr. So I that kind of stuff doesn't like, I don't know. I got some dark humor in me. Maybe he goes a little too far sometimes, but I think
no, he's very clever.
If you're a good comedian, in my opinion, if you're not trying to like at least skirt the envelope a little bit, then you're not probably doing your job.
Yep.
And Leisure Comics says, how long has John been here telling lies for? Oh, about 15 minutes. It's okay.
No, about that long.
Yeah. So
other indies from last year. I mean, I loved Helen of Windhorn by Tom King. That was a good one. And now that Legion's in the chat, he can agree with Tom King the fanboy that we both are for Tom King. Sacrificers by Rick Remender. Sorry, I'm scrolling through my little memories here. We mentioned Grommets. Just trying to give some advice on last year's best books.
I don't know if this is last year, but
Ooh,
earlier this year, Pop Kill from Mad Cave.
I don't know that one.
It was really it's I'll show you. It's it was like a lot of art. I can't, like Brian Steele did some of the art, and it's Jimmy Palmiotti does it.
Oh, nice.
And it's like if you're a fan of like 80s action movies like me, it's like nonstop action with a fun story, pretty cool art, and kind of quirky. Classic Mad Cave. That's how Mad Cave usually is. What's Mark says? Jimmy Carr ripped the envelope into 100 pieces a long time ago. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
As far as
for life.
As far as another one that ended this year, I know The Deviant is a great serial killer thriller. If that's the kind of book you like, that's an Image book.
Yeah.
I loved Scotty Young's Ain't No Grave from last year with Jorge Corona on art. That was freaking great. If you like a Western, like that's a crazy Western book. And then, Precious Metal from the guys that did Little Bird, really great series.
The latest Bitter Root series is good.
Yes, I want to get the hardcover. I'm waiting for the hardcover collection again for that second volume. Oh, and then Rare Flavors from Rom V is another good one. So there you go. And those are one of the ones that made my list.
And if you kind of like the horror or like stuff, I would also suggest one that we've been reading for comic book reviews on my friend Kingdom of Nerds channel. It's called Slasher's Apprentice. It is wild. Okay. This girl, nice. She's like the apprentice of this serial killer. He's like a famous serial killer, like something like the Zodiac or something. And she's like wants to be his apprentice. So she's like almost more dangerous than he is because she has a podcast talking about true crime, and then at night she's moonlighting as his apprentice.
Oh crap!
So yeah, it's pretty.
That reminds me of that Image book Nailbiter that had to do with like a small town where there were a lot of serial killers came out of this town, and the cult, the followers that were fascinated by this town and what's happening there.
That kind of reminds me of that. I can't remember the name of the show, but there was a show where Kevin Bacon was like an FBI profiler, and this serial killer had set up a cult. I can't remember the name of that. If anybody in the chat knows what I'm talking about, but it was like really the following or something like that. Was it called? I think. I don't know.
That sounds like it might be right. Exquisite Corpses is great, Adam. It's a great.
It's not Footloose.
It's not Footloose. No,
it's not
Exquisite Corpses is my favorite book I'm reading this year so far. It's absolutely fantastic.
And another guy that's I almost call him the Stephen King of like comic books right now is James Tynion IV. He's like
that's his. That's one of his.
Stuff he's writing. I mean, it's just I don't know how he keeps up.
And it's all very entertaining by my standard, at least.
Yeah. And then the Department of Truth, like when I first read it, I bought the first 2 volumes. I need to get volume 3, I think, but
that'll wreck you. That book is intense.
Yeah, it's just wild. It's all over the place. I like it though. Hey, we got Rich here. Hey, Rich. Good to see you. Okay, well, I didn't start it the usual way, but we just kind of started talking, which is fine. I like that. But I will ask you my standard question is like, when did you first get into comic books? I mean, what made you fall in love with it?
For sure. Part of it is being a middle child, a middle of 3 boys, and everybody on either end was like way into sports. And I was like, well, I need something different. I need my thing to be different than their thing. Yeah. So nerddom came very natural to me, watching horror films and reading comic books and all that kind of stuff became my jam. And it was right around the time that this book came out. And we're talking mid 80s somewhere. The X-Men were fighting with the Marauders Massacre. Secret Wars had just wrapped up. And those were the things I was reading a ton of. A lot of that early 200s X-Men was my jam. Yeah. Yeah, Magneto taking over as running the school and taking over at the New Mutants Academy, and that was the stuff I was reading a ton of, and it became a little bit of Batman as well, reading like Year One and Dark Knight Returns and things like that from
Year
Miller.
2 is pretty good too.
Yeah, and they've been doing a lot of fun Year One stuff more recently too. The the Batman and Robin year one, and I like Batgirl year one and Robin year one. Those are fun. So yeah, that mid 80s was when I clicked in, and it was always a treat when I would go to my grandmother's house in Pine Top, Arizona, up in the mountains, and there was a Circle K walking distance from her house.
Yeah.
And my mom would give me a little, money every couple of days to go down, cruise the spinner rack, buy a couple of books, and bring them back. So it was this treat of being in that area and getting the books. And she also had, and I should have grabbed it. I'm sorry I didn't, but she had this game of Old Maid, the card game.
Yeah.
But the cards were all Secret Wars Marvel themed. And Dr. Doom was the Old Maid. You didn't want to get stuck with the Dr. Doom card. It was fantastic. The Marvel card game. We played it until it was so thrashed that you could tell somebody had Dr. Doom just by looking at how bent the back of the card was. But recently, I'd say like 3 years ago, I went on eBay and found somebody had a pristine set of the cards. They didn't have the box it came in, but I just wanted the cards. I bought it, and I've got it in a little plastic container in the toy room. Cool. Yeah, it's sweet.
It's good memories. I remember that back in the day, even though we had the Atari and the Nintendo and Sega and all that stuff, we still, I don't see kids as much as older kids like us enjoying board games as much as they used to, like the old school. Like, you remember how they'd have a board game for every movie and TV show? Like there was an A-Team board game. They even had I remember they had a Dallas board game. I don't know if anybody, see, I'm showing my age now, but
Dallas, the TV series?
Yeah, the J.R. Ewing. Yeah, they had it was like a Monopoly style game. Yeah. And they had a Welcome Back Kotter game. I remember seeing these old games. That's hilarious. Even though I was a little bit, Welcome Back Kotter was a few years before my time. I was born in 76, but I still remember watching it. But anyway, they had games for everything back then. We used to have the old Star Wars Empire Strikes Back board game.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what happened to all these games. I had all kinds of those board games. Anyway, there was nothing better than cool. Being on vacation on a rainy day and you couldn't go anywhere and just playing a board game.
Right. My mom also bought us a lot of the like Secret Wars action figures that came out with that film or that series. So you had like the black suit Spider-Man and Doom, and I got an Iron Man, and who else did I have? I had a whole bunch of them. The whole time.
I remember they had those, and I had a lot of the superpowers.
Yeah.
DC G.I. Joe was was the majority of what I had. And I had some.
Oh, that's the same here.
Transformers, but G.I. Joe was my jam. You know what I mean?
Oh, we loved it at our house. Heck yeah.
Like if I hadn't been bored of Mustard District, it was a good recruitment tool because there's probably a lot of kids that joined the military because of G.I. Joe.
And didn't you say your dad was in the Army or something?
Yeah, he was a Marine Corps veteran. He's in Vietnam, and he retired from the National Guard 20 years. So he was.
That's amazing.
Always kind of a military man.
That's cool.
Shout out here to Secret Wars. Yep. And I also will give a shout out to a series that came out at the same time, Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was pretty cool.
Which I found that stuff way later. I didn't get into the greater, Justice League stuff until later in life. I was into some Wonder Woman stuff, but mostly just Batman. I wanted to be Robin. I wanted to like hang out with Batman. Like that was my thing. And then of course they killed a Robin, and I was like, maybe I don't want that job anymore.
Also like I didn't know the artist names at the time.
Sure.
But I remember I was like, what's drawing me this book? Like I'd be drawn to Amazing Spider-Man or Uncanny X-Men. And I look back now and I'm like, oh, well, you got, people talk shit about him a lot now, but John Romita Jr. was doing a lot of stuff when I first started reading X-Men. It was like in the late 100s.
I mean, that's this X-Men. Where's it? Sorry, this X-Men right here and this X-Men. I pulled out a couple of the 209, 210, and Charlie, if you want, was nice enough to run and grab the box. Sorry, they were called Superheroes Card Game is what it was called. She ran and grabbed it for me. Got the little rules, so you know how to play. And there he is. You don't want the Doctor Doom
You
card.
don't get stuck with the Doctor Doom card.
You got
Hey,
Falcon.
Tony.
You got Doctor Strange. Who else do we got? Yeah, Human Torch. Let's see. Oh, I love this Ghost Rider
That's
one.
so
That one
cool.
looks cool. Oh, cool Ghost
Oh,
Rider.
that's cool.
You got your Hawkeye, that purple Hawkeye costume. So I guess it wasn't Secret Wars as much as just like Marvel character stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looks like a Kirby style Thor, maybe, or a Simonson Thor.
I just like the artwork on the cards.
Oh yeah, so cool.
It makes me kind of want to get it. I want to go look some of these up now, John.
This is the one that somebody drew on, so I got a little drawing on that other Doctor Strange. I got the Thing, of course. It's got the whole FF crew. Oh yeah, this is a nice one, the Iron Man one.
Oh yeah,
breaking the girder. Of course, you got Reed and your boy Captain America there. I pulled out my Avengers 4 for you.
Oh,
that one ready. Looks like Ramita Senior maybe on Spider-Man.
Yeah, it looks very Ramita Senior to me.
Wanda in her purple costume.
I like the purple costume.
Gotta have the Hulk.
That's got to be. It looks like Buscema or something. Or no, I mean Herb Trimpe.
Yeah, it looks like Herb maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Vision.
You know what? I think he's one of the most underrated characters.
I love the Vision. I need to get that Avengers 55 one day.
I know. One day I will get it.
Marvel. And then, of course, Norrin Rad.
Of course, we got to have the Silver Surfer at a card game with decent. I mean,
right. So there you go. That's the original card set that my grandmother had in her house forever. Probably, it says copyright 1978, Milton Bradley. The title is Marvel Superheroes card game. So if anybody's looking for it, that's what I searched on eBay. And there were some very expensive ones that were like mint in the cardboard box that it came in and stuff. I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted the cards in decent enough shape. And I made my own container out of a pencil box the girls weren't using anymore.
That's awesome. I also like those. Remember the old black light posters they used to have?
Oh yeah.
Silver Surfer. I've been looking those up, but they're pretty expensive.
Oh, I bet it's hard to find them in decent shape too.
Yeah. Missy Mars says in 1978 he was 13 years old.
I don't know why my grandmother. I don't know where she got it because at that age I was like 10. That had been around for almost 10 years. I don't know where she
picked it up somewhere. Maybe one of your uncles or dad or something had them.
Garage sale somewhere. Maybe I don't know.
It could have been like a church raffle or something. Who knows?
It was always up in the attic at her cabin in the mountains, and we played that thing constantly.
Oh, that's some core memories. I remember playing Monopoly. Monopoly doesn't get real until somebody says, "Screw it, I quit."
Flip the table.
Starts throwing their game cards. Yeah, their deeds. They throw their deeds around. Like, I quit.
Yep.
Also, always some good Monopoly fights in the families, usually. Okay, I got another question for you, and I guess everybody probably knows you got two X-Men marks talking to each other. Going to be like this. What is your favorite comic book series, and why is it the X-Men?
You're darn tootin'. It is absolutely the original Uncanny X-Men run, and it's ultimately for me because focused wise, it's the Claremont run on Uncanny. It's that new team vibe, and I think for me it was the first time, or it was an early time seeing characters who were superheroes, but not necessarily because they were chosen to do it, but because it was kind of forced upon them in some way, and they were doing it out of some part of themselves that felt like they had something to prove. Right? They were being judged for what they were, and they felt the need to like push back against that belief that they were less, that they were a problem, and they wanted to prove their worth. So, I loved those characters. And when I came on, this was Storm losing her powers and yet still staying as the leader of the team. I thought she was such a magnetic character, that she was had all these things stacked against her, but still could rise to the top and be able to say, oh, I've earned the spot to be a leader on this team. I can do so much despite the fact that I don't have my powers right now. And then, of course, she gets her powers back, and I'm watching that 90s cartoon, and I'm like, this is amazing. This gal's unstoppable. And then Wolverine, I was super into how bloody the comic was. Every time he and Sabretooth threw down, it was just absolutely candy to me. So the two of them. And then as I got older, I started loving the other people in the squad, Kitty and Nightcrawler and Colossus. And Rogue came in, and then Gambit came in. And I was captured by the individuality. They all brought something to the team and made it very relatable in that way.
Yeah, and he also as the X-Men, I thought Claremont always made interesting female superhero characters.
Absolutely.
You're talking about Storm, and people tend to forget, I think, but and then I love, that's why I love X-97. You kind of forget how powerful she is.
Yeah. I mean, her ability is one, and that's what Omega means, right? It's one where the top is the height of her ability can't be measured. In a few years back when they were colonizing Mars, she basically created weather systems on that planet. That's how significant her ability was. Everybody was adding something to the mix. Iceman was adding water to the planet, and she was creating weather systems, and they had characters, Magneto and such, creating realigning the poles and creating land masses, and it was amazing, man, absolutely amazing. And it highlighted again the reasons why Magneto and Iceman and Storm are Omega level powered characters. There's really no upper level that can be achieved.
When you can control something that powerful like the weather, because you think we see what the weather does in real life, the hurricanes and tsunamis. I mean,
for
she
sure,
just has it she can just do it at will. It's not. I'm sure it takes something out of her, but anyway, it's just I remember when she there was a good example is when I can't remember that evil force, took control of her, and she thought she was protecting her people, and she made it rain so hard it was flooding and killing people, and the X-Men had to come stop her. That was so cool. It's just when I talked to Claremont about, I told him, I said, look, because one of my favorite characters is Wolverine and Rogue, and I love their relationship.
Sure.
And how it kind of I said, I love the way I told him I said, my favorite thing is when she joins the X-Men and they don't accept her at first. They're so pissed because she used to beat them up all the time.
Yep.
And she was in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And then they didn't really accept it, but very quickly they get in a situation where there's nobody left for Wolverine to trust but her.
Right.
Because all the other X-Men have been kidnapped when he was getting married. And she saves his life. And I think Logan kind of started respecting her a little bit at that point.
You have to earn Logan's respect, isn't that always
if you
the
earn
way
his
with
respect, you're doing something. Because he doesn't really hand it out. It's kind of reminds me of my grandpa. He wouldn't give you too many compliments. And when he did, you were like, yeah, you'd want to run through a wall. He's like a football coach, But and I said, but I just like the way you did that with the development, and as a kid, I said, I was a loner kind of kid. I was the only child. And when you grow up with disability, you don't get to play as much outside. I could play, but I couldn't do what a lot of the other kids could do. And I couldn't play a lot of sports.
Was it this one? Sorry, you were thinking of this one, right?
Yes, that's it.
There it is. Issue 147. I was like, I know I got it. I got to grab it.
I think I see on there. I need to get that one.
It's a great issue, and it's
things. But he said that was a pleasure. He said was writing stuff where I had time. He says back then you had time to do that kind of thing. He says
sure.
He said it's not like that. He said I don't really think it's like that anymore. He said.
Yeah, I think the level of creative control has lessened significantly, where it seems like editors do more controlling stuff than the writers, and Claremont was at significant points writing his own check. He was doing several books simultaneously, New Mutants and X-Men and then Marvel team up issues and other things as well. I don't think a lot of guys can do that grind at that level.
And to be like that successful at it for that many years.
For sure.
Hey, Collector. How you doing, TCP? It's good to see you. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just something about the X-Men. But he also liked it when I talked about that there's a series was called Alien Predator, the Deadliest of the Species that he wrote.
Okay.
After he quit, I think he left Marvel for a while.
Was that a Dark Horse or?
Yeah, Dark Horse. And he's like, I had a lot of fun. He said they let me create the characters and have control of it. He said, so I had fun. He said he had fun doing it. So, and I just thought it was cool because I'm so used to him doing some kind of a mutant book or something. And so it's cool. The departure that I'd say he was probably sick of writing X-Men by the time he walked away from it. He was.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
I mean, because I remember an interview I saw of him where he's like, at some point we had Uncanny X-Men, New Mutants, X-Force, Excalibur, Generation X, X-Force.
Yep.
And then he says, then they wanted me to start writing X-Men with Jim Lee on the art. And he's like, I'm like, guys, and then
I know
also,
that
not to mention Wolverine, like he didn't really want to get
and I know he had
Volume 2.
And he had some pushback with Jim Lee. I think some of those writers and artists didn't necessarily get along real well, and they each had pretty strong ideas. And so, but thankfully, he wasn't actually like writing a lot of those. I think people like Louise Simonson were really carrying a lot of weight for him on books like X Factor, and I think obviously X-Force was Liefeld, run, especially at the beginning, and even New Mutants. He kind of took New Mutants away from Chris there.
There was probably a lot of tension between, like, I think I've read something like this about, like, you had guys like Frank Miller and George Perez and Walter Simonson and these other guys, John Byrne, who like kind of, and Claremont they were like oil and water when it came to guys like, Liefeld and
that new generation.
Lee. They had a different perspective of what they thought a comic book story should tell. And so it's kind of like, because like McFarlane is a good example. How many times did he brought Spider-Man back from it was like the 21st book, and then he brings it back to number one book almost, and they're still like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. And he's like, fine, I quit.
And Eric Larson too. I think he was always the second fiddle to McFarlane, but he came in strong right after McFarlane on both.
I love Eric Larson's
man. Spider-Man. Heck, he was my favorite when they started Image. I tried some of the other books, but Savage Dragon was always the one for me over there.
It was such a quirky book, still is. And I wasn't much of a Youngblood or Wildcats. The art's fine, but like I will say I was a Spawn fanboy. I'm not gonna lie, because
I think most people were, for sure. I think that's the book that's had the most enduring popularity for sure.
And I'm sure it had an effect on a lot of younger artists.
Oh yeah,
that were growing up at that time. Even I've heard Ed Piskor, Jim Rugg talk about it. Like the guys, he says, you can say what you want about Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld and these guys, but they made me want to be in the comic book field.
100%. They were a movement, man. And you had Rob Liefeld out there doing Captain Kirk, man.
Hey, Jackson.
So damn funny. But Rob Liefeld's out there doing jeans commercials with Spike Lee. Like he was way bigger than just this corner of Marvel. Like he was definitely an icon.
I mean, we could get into how divisive he's kind of been and kind of been a brat, but I kind of
all those guys, Mark Silvestri,
they were all kind of bratty. They were all kind of bratty.
And they cared about what they were making. They wanted to start something new. Like they birthed this incredible brand, this Image brand where creators could have some say and have some ownership for their characters. And, bless them. I'm incredibly impressed by the cojones that decision must have taken for them.
Yeah. I love I talk about this a lot on my channel. That when they went in there all together, he says, I think we kind of freaked him out, the editor.
I'm sure.
And he said, we're leaving. And they get to the elevator, and the elevator door's about to shut. And Editor in chief runs down the hall. I can't remember who it was at the time, and he stops the elevator door. He sticks his hand in there. He's like, if it doesn't work out, you guys can come back anytime. And then the door shut. And McFarland said, I looked at Jim Lee and said, they don't think we can fucking do it. He said, that made me want to do it even more, you know.
Sure. But, you know, I mean, Marvel's been known to hold grudge as an organization.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I'm, you know, at least there was always a DC option to fall back on.
Yeah. Well, then they walked over to DC and said, we're starting our own company. We're just going to put you on notice too. I'm like, you guys were just trying to burn every bridge you had, weren't you?
Absolutely.
Because they walk in and the guy at DC's like, he thought, oh, I'm going to get to poach these guys, you know. And, well, you know, then again, they all did. I mean, you know, Jim Lee did go over there though eventually. Yeah, I like a lot of those guys. I don't know. We could talk about that all day. I know that, but so what were some of your other? I know you love Storm, but what were some other characters?
I mean, you mentioned G.I. Joe. When I was a kid, I loved G.I. Joe. I read the books, watched the show, had the action figures like crazy. So G.I. Joe ranked very, very high for me as well. Anything Frank Miller, I was definitely into. You know, the Batman stuff that he was doing and the Daredevil stuff that he was doing. I caught little bits of. And found Sin City later, but yeah, G.I. Joe the comic was it, and I think at the time it was probably my least favorite of the three. I mean, it was easier to watch the show or play with the toys, but looking back now, it's the most it's the one that holds the most joy for me. Like going back and watching the show, it's not as good as I remember. and playing with the toys, I know they're nice, but like the comic holds up for me a ton.
Yeah. And I thought that, like, you know, when you go back and watch the cartoon, it's like, well, that's kind of silly. They never hit anything. But like in the comic book, Larry Hama, the way I mean, you know, and also like we're talking about Claremont, but to have a guy that was able to like write the entire run like that. So it gives him, he knows what's going on. So he doesn't have to have like, when you're putting all these different writers and artists on it, and like, especially the writer, like the artist can change, but the writer, it's when a writer changes, you're like, well, I don't really know what happened in issue 5, and we're on issue 88 now. And then I don't,
right.
He knew everything. And he's, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, even at his age now, he's still a pretty sharp guy. So, and he did, you know, it's not just G.I. Joe, Wolverine. Some of the stuff he wrote on Wolverine was just like,
yeah, no, he's absolutely fantastic, and was willing to let it be violent and have stakes and have characters risk, and then eventually even some lose their lives. Like the violence had significance. It wasn't just arbitrary and you knew nobody would die or people would come back. It was not like that.
Nobody was safe. I remember when I read the issue where Serpentor was killed by Zartan, and I was like, "Oh, Serpentor!"
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, but it's been like 30 years ago. So,
there was an issue somewhere in the like early 100s, like 130 or something, where they killed like 6 Joes in one issue, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I couldn't believe it. They lined a bunch of them up, and the old bats,
guys too.
Yeah, the bats mowed them down, and you were like, "Oh my god, what did that just happen?"
Tony made a good statement here because Larry Hama still killing it because he's still writing it.
Yep, he's like really, Eric Larson.
I was really happy that Skybound Image let him continue writing it, even though they did another G.I. Joe series that Joshua Williams was writing.
Right, for sure.
And, Phil's always got to ask this question. He goes, "Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?" I say
all right,
no.
Look, Phil. I'm a Californian. You're gonna get some crazy answers on this stuff from me. I don't have a problem with almost anything on pizza. Like pizza works. Pizza slaps, as Perry Comics would say. And I will enjoy a good Hawaiian pizza, but I will say I prefer a Hawaiian pizza with barbecue sauce, not pizza sauce. In which case, what you got is the sweetness and the tangy from the barbecue sauce. You get the cheese on there. You may even throw some bacon on there. You throw some Canadian bacon on there. You got yourself a party, my sir. You got yourself a party. So I do not shame the.
I'm not going to shame
pineapple. I will say it's not what I would order most typically. Yeah. I am a pepperoni and sausage guy when it comes to my pizza. I want it spicy. I want it with the red pepper flakes. That's my personal version of pizza. You could throw in other things, bell peppers and all kinds of good things, but I also will not dismiss it out of hand.
Jackson, the ones that are the when you're getting in the early part of the run, the ones that are expensive is issue 1 and issue 21 definitely.
Yeah.
But you can find the others usually for pretty reasonable price up until you get to about issue 148. And that's where you run into it. That's where I'm at now. I'm running into this problem with the ones in the hundreds because it started getting short print ran, because that was about the time when comics started like failing there for a while really bad. And so they're hard to get your hands on. And, it's not just that. I was watching Mint Hunter Collectibles video today. He was talking about runs that are hard to complete.
Yeah.
And some of them will surprise you. Like the later issues of Darkhawk are hard to find.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And another one is like the later issues of Transformers. And he also mentioned one that I didn't really realize, but the last few issues of the Punisher Volume 1 ongoing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, G.I. Joe 75, that's a great cover, comic verse.
I will say I had almost a half a short box of G.I. Joe at one point, but they were pretty thrashed, and I've gotten rid of all. But what I did end up then getting back is 1, 21, and 155, the final issue. So those are the only 3 that I still have in the collection, are the beginning, the end, and right in the middle, 21.
I'm working on the entire run, but here's where I'm at. I just opened my CLZ. Where is it? I can't find it. I got 109 issues out of 155. So
that's nice,
I'm
man.
Getting closer. I pick one up whenever I can. So I don't know. But I picked up a few. I picked up number 1 at Heroes for a friend of mine brought it. So that was cool. And I got a good price on it. It's like, oh, okay. My internet does that every now and then. When I go, we're moving to a new house next week, and I'm going to make sure the modem is right next. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to make sure that I'm plugged into the modem. It's going to be in my room. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know it. I get that feeling.
I
had that happen to me too.
Mike Zeck did a lot of great
yes
covers.
Yeah. I think,
I'm a big Mike Zeck fan.
I know that
if he gets enough love.
We mentioned all those Image guys who get a ton of love, and I don't think Mike Zeck gets the same appreciation, because that's a shame. And I think that's a shame. Obviously, his Punisher stuff, his Secret Wars gang, Secret Wars was my jam, and then of course, Craven's Last Hunt on Spider-Man, so freaking amazing. The guy is worthy to be on that Mount Rushmore for sure. And
some other people that I don't know. I don't feel like a lot of the newer people in comics, I wish they would know, is like there's some guys like Nick Cardy.
Oh, yes.
And Joe Kubert. I don't think Joe Kubert gets it. I mean, Joe Kubert basically did the cover for every Sergeant Rock Volume 2. And there's like 400 some issues.
I put away all my Aquaman Nick Cardys, but I've got about 12 of them now, and I've got a handful of the Teen Titans he did too. Nick Cardy has been my current passion project. I may be trying to get that first Aquaman run at this point.
Here you go. Here's one I have that I love that he did.
Oh, yes.
51.
I have this book, and I'll tell you why I bought it. Firstly, I like Star Sapphire, so I heard about this cover, and I was like, this is hilarious. So I started searching for it on eBay, and I found somebody selling it for stupid cheap, and in the fine print, if you didn't notice it, it said double cover. So I bought it. I bought it for a steal, and then the person didn't understand that those books should be priced up. It's a beautiful double covered copy of that book. It's so fantastic.
Yeah, Beck did some banger. Yeah,
he
Captain
did.
America and Mike Zeck go hand in hand. He's almost like him and Jack Kirby are my favorite Captain America artists, to be honest. Although Steve Epting did kill it with Brubaker. Yep. I will say that.
My favorite is Zeck. He does rank above Kirby for me, but it's only because I've gone back. I've been doing a series of Silver Age reads with Magic Lasso, looking at the original Avengers run, and I was so disappointed by the Kirby art in the first few ises, and I was
Oh,
so
no.
happy when it turned over to Don Heck and Don Heck started doing it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so much better. The Don Heck artwork is so superior to the Kirby in that original
Really?
Avengers run.
Oh, wow.
I highly recommend it checking out, because Kirby only did the first handful. He didn't do it.
Yeah.
He did covers, and he would do layouts on some issues, but when Don Heck came on, it really was a strong move that worked well. Because I think Kirby was overworked. He was doing so many titles at that point. I think it was just too much for him.
Yeah. He was like, I mean, Kirby was like had the whole company on his shoulders for a while. I mean, if you think about it, like some of the stuff he did was brilliant. But I mean, even the King can get overworked, right?
Sure.
But you know what? Some of those, talk about that though. Some of those Avengers covers in the Bronze Age, in the early Bronze Age, and the Silver Age, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. I don't know. The colors are so vibrant. It's just I love looking at that stuff.
Oh yeah, Steranko cap. Good. It's a good one too, Tony.
Oh yeah. I got them back here. I got two of them. I don't have the one. There's one where Bucky's hiding next to the memorial of Captain America statue. I don't have that one. I still need that one. And the one that Steranko did for X-Men issue 50.
Oh, yeah. I just got issue 49 this year, but I don't have 50 yet.
And you know that the trade dress, which is still the same, is what he created.
Yes, sir. It's so superior to the earlier X-Men trade dress.
The only other one I feel that's been around longer than this is the Superman trade dress.
Oh, yeah.
Never changed, really.
Yep.
But it shouldn't change. It shouldn't change. It's like just the way they do the Superman. Like, I don't know. And the same thing with the X-Men. If they ever change it, well, they kind of change it now, but they shouldn't. They
tinker with it, but they always seem to come back.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess it's because he had I think it was good with a guy like Steranko and Neil Adams. I put them kind of in the same category, even though Neil Adams has a longer resume. I'll just ask what you think of this. Because of their background in like graphic design, I just think the way they did stuff, they just knew how to lay out a cover to make it pop.
I think, and I think in both cases they knew how to use perspective, and they knew how to do panel to panel storytelling really well.
Coloring,
yeah.
And I think it still bothers Steranko that they changed the face on that Hulk annual #1, though.
I mean, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
It's the same as that Superman leg on that Kryptonite, breaking the Kryptonite chain cover. Where they extended that leg over.
Legion of Comics said that Neil Adams said that really bugged the shit out of him.
He never got over it. I think he mentioned it to everybody who brought him that book to sign.
I say he did. Well, it's like what's it, Lady Fantastic says. If you go to Jim Starlin, if he asks you if you give him a book that's got Thanos on the cover, he's going to tell some lame joke and then sign it on his crotch, right over his head or something. No, over his head. Yeah, just right over his face. I don't know. I can't remember the joke. I can't remember the joke though. But guys, we got a few minutes left. I think. Well, I don't want to keep John though. He's got to go to the girls have soccer practice. Was that what it was?
Yeah, my younger one has her soccer practice. As long as I leave in about the next 30 minutes, I'll be okay. So
okay, we got usually it goes about an hour, so we got about 5 minutes of the clock. Has anybody got any questions they'd like to ask John before he hits the old dusty trail, as my dad would say? My dad was a big Western fan, so.
Did your dad like a lot of Westerns? Was he a Western movie fan, John Wayne kind of stuff? Clint Eastwood?
Yes, I've had to suffer through a lot of. I used to not like them when I was a kid. You're like, oh, so boring. But now I've kind of grown to appreciate some of them. I mean, especially like some of the cinematography on the old John Ford movies.
Sure.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. No, I grew up with John Wayne in my house.
If X-Men didn't exist, what team would you root for?
My second favorite team is not a Marvel team. It would be Teen Titans. I love the Teen Titans. They are the DC equivalent in some ways of the the X-Men. That's why they had that great crossover in the early 80s. So I would go with Wolfman and Perez. Teen Titans is my jam, and I've met Marv Wolfman so many times. He is an absolute dream, and I love his perspective. And yeah, he had a great way of telling a story that it reminded me a lot of Claremont. I felt like I was reading if Claremont had a DC team. That's what it felt like to me reading that book. He had a great way of getting into each character's head.
And if you're a fan of that, you need to get this annual.
There it is.
It's got Perez and
That's
Wolfman
the new one.
Cameo. Yeah, the Perez and
Ooh.
Wolfman have a cameo in it.
Nice.
In the panel. And it's about Donna Troy, who's one of my favorite Titans anyway. So
yes, Cliff's in the chat. He knows. Donna Troy. Heck yeah.
That's right. That's right, Cliff. You know it. You know it. We're all about. Me and Cliff are definitely in the Donna Troy fan club.
I last year I was excited. I got her first appearance. I got that Brave and the Bold, what some people call the second Teen Titans appearance.
Yeah.
Although it's the first time they use the words Teen Titans, and Donna shows up, and they officially become a team. So I don't know why the other Brave and the Bold is the key. It doesn't make sense to me, but I got the one I wanted, and I got it for a good price.
Well, hey Jackson, you heard a lot about because it's great. It's like it's kind of long because it's kind of double size because it's annual, but sometimes when it's some 64 pages, it just because I think TikTok and all these reels have rotted my brain to where it has to be like. But like I read it all the way through and did not get bored or like I have to take a break because they're in the opposite of that was a book I reviewed last week on the King of Nerds channel called I Tyrant, and it was just like all over the place. They would flash forward to different time periods, and there was like all these bubbles that we had to read, all these text. I'm like, oh my God, you should have just made it a graphic novel or something. I thought I was reading War and Peace or something.
I think some books are nowadays made for that format, the long form style, which is fine. I think, there's some that I prefer to read that way. Like you mentioned, I think Bitterroot tonight, and that's something I like to read in trade form, in larger form. I have a lot of the single issues, but I've just enjoyed being able to binge it,
Absolutely. Well, we got any more questions? While we're waiting on another question, I will tell everybody that Thursday, I don't have anything going on tomorrow on my channel, but on Thursday at 12:30, I do have this
Heck
good
yes
cinema episode, and we'll be talking about Pulp Fiction.
Great.
And I'm proud to say that I can tell you what's going to be next week's bad cinema, and it's Star Crash, Roger Corman film from 1978. It's a complete and total ripoff of Star Wars.
Oh
and
my gosh.
It's one of the first movies you'll see a young David Hasselhoff in.
Is that him right next to the gal on the left there?
Yeah, right there in the green. You see him?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's Hasselhoff.
Never heard of this movie, but it looks incredible.
It's worth watching just because it's hilarious. And then the next, not this week, but next week's good cinema is going to be Aliens.
Oh, that's a phenomenal movie. And as I've gotten older, it's become my favorite Alien movie. Like it used to be Alien and then Aliens, but as I've gotten older and watched them all a trillion times, Aliens is the one I go back to more often. I think it's just pulse pounding good fun. We did mention Ghost Machine at the top of the show, Jackson, and gave it some shout outs, especially for me. Junkyard Joe is my favorite in that series. I've kind of fallen off reading consistently all the other ones. Some of them I liked, like Rook Exodus I did enjoy, and some of the other ones I just didn't speak to me, and so I kind of just fell off of them. Overall, I may go back and read some of them in trades and things like that, but I'm not picking up any of them currently.
The ones I currently read are Ghost Machine and not Ghost Machine, Geiger and Redcoat, the ones I'm primarily reading.
Sure.
And we got another one. John, he says, "What kid books do you read?" I'm a big Archie fan.
My girls are now of an age where they're not foisting as many kid books on me as they used to. When they were a little younger, the ones that they liked the most were there's a series called Amulet, which is a graphic novel series that's like a little sci-fi fantasy kind of thing, and it is fantastic. That book is amazing. There's something like 10 volumes of it. It's massive. Raina Telgemeier is also a great one for girls. That she does more like young kid drama story stuff that I think girls especially gravitate towards. Stuff about having sisters and how hard it is. And, there's a whole book called Smile about getting braces and how hard it is to have braces and what it does to you socially and your friend groups and stuff. But for me, favorite kid stuff these days, I mean, get your kids the Strange Academy omnibus. It just came out. Strange Academy is great. And for kid readers that want to get into comics, it's like, if you want your kid to try Marvel, maybe like it might be the book that hooks them in. I think it's a whole lot of fun. It's like, Harry Potter in the Marvel universe. It's a good darn book.
There's another one that was last year. You probably will find it in a trade. I can't remember the actual name. It was like Robin, and it was like some kid's name who went to school. Robin went to school with this kid, right? And he becomes friends with him, and like you see, like it's not really got a lot of Batman in it. I can't remember the name of it. I bought one for my little cousin.
Okay, yeah, DC's been the better company for the most part, in my opinion, as far as producing stuff for older kids and teen or young teens, as far as stuff they would read. My girls have read a ton of the little mini graphic novels they do. They're slightly bigger than a paperback novel, but not as big as a trade paperback novel. Yeah, anything Scotty Young's freaking amazing, man. I as a writer, he is really turned on the juice and done some incredible stuff.
An overall person, he seems like
is he? I've never met him.
I'm not either, but I've heard a lot of people say great things, and I know he donated a lot of stuff last year to Comics Curing Cancer.
Oh, that's cool.
He's going to do it this year. He like a whole run of the Little Marvels. Also, he donated.
I love that book. Yes,
but like it's just like I don't know. I just like I think a lot of people like him because it's the same reason a classic cartoon artist like Don Rosa or somebody or Carl. Everybody likes that kind of cutesy like animated.
There's a nostalgia to it. Yeah. And yeah, for sure.
And they kind of look like a little Funko Pop the way or something. But I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I got a Captain America one he signed for me. He didn't sign it for me. I mean, I didn't go. Somebody was in line. I was not waiting in that line. If you were at Heroes Con, you would know what I mean. It was like people talk about that, how bad that line is. Hey, we got Travis to stop by. Hey, Travis.
I hope he's doing okay.
I've been following your journey. Pretty cool. Looks like fun.
Man, yeah, he's been on that hiking. I think he's back on the trail, if I'm not mistaken. I know he took a break with his heels healing up, as it were.
Okay,
but I think he's right back to it.
All right, well, stay safe out there, Travis, and we'll look forward to seeing your videos on it. I've been watching them on Facebook and on Instagram a lot. Anyway, guys, I guess Phil's like talking about Scotty did his second ever panel at Heroes this last June. So
nice.
And Phil said it was good. I didn't get to go to it, but I was in a lot of lines waiting for
right.
I get it. Chris Claremont and all these guys. Yeah. And, I kind of jumped the line on Daniel Warren Johnson by accident. I was like, oops. But he signed my books anyway. He seemed like a pretty chill guy.
He is a very chill guy. I saw him at San Diego. He was great.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we're out of time. I'd like to thank my guest John here for coming on. And please, if you're not subscribed to him, the link's in the description. If you're not, what are you waiting for? And please, if you're not subscribed to me, give me a subscription and give this video a thumbs up, because I'm 9 away from 500. And when I do that, I'm giving away a comic book signed by Jenny Prison.
Heck yeah.
That's a pretty cool prize. But I guess that's the end of the show. Just like Uncle Stan always used to say, until next time, true believers, Excelsior.
Come, son of Jarrell! Kneel before Zod! Snoochie boochies.